Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today.
We have Pam Gibson of Shamir presenting on the new InTouch lens that was just released at Vision Expo West, and any questions can be answered at the end. So let's get started, Pam, and I'll hand over the control to you.
Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for are allowing us to bring designs to the market much more quickly. For those of you who are familiar with Shamir, we launched about 6 months ago a golf lens, and that was kind of the tip of the iceberg for what we're able to do with the designs to make it more specific to meet visual needs of patients all over. Golf is very, very specific in its design, but with that in mind, what we have able to do within, there are problems arising because patients today are struggling to see clearly with their smartphones and tablets and e-readers with the current progressives, and that's because of the design, the power structure of those progressives. It makes it just a little bit harder. It's interesting, as I've been learning more and more about this lens, to find out that if you watch people and how they're using their e-readers and their tablets and their iPhones, it's amazing to find out how they compensate and how they move to change, to get comfortable into a visual comfort zone for them. Out with us, electronic e-technology, and it's really driving a need for a different type of design. But let's just talk about the impact of this technology on the market right now. 46% of adults use a smartphone. That's 107.9 million adults in the United States. It's up 11% from last year, and it's overtaking what we would call just a cell phone. So that's a huge market that's creating a need within our society and lifestyle. We also look incorporated into this. 19% of those same adults own a tablet. That's 44.5 million. And it can be within that group or it can be aside from that group. 18% of adults own an e-reader of some sort. I'm sure we're all aware of the Kindle craze, and it's crazy. Planes, trains, automobiles, people read on our e-readers all the time. So we're looking at a growing number of people who are using these electronic devices on the go. Part of the, I guess, interest and the increase in activity with these devices are shopping apps. I think we have to be real. It started out with texting, but shopping and other applications are being used several times a day on a daily basis, from the iPhone, e-reader, smartphone owners, huge number of people. Because this smart technology is being so utilized now, it's creating the need for a new visual zone, so to speak, because we're changing how we use our eyes. The focus goes from a smaller screen on a smartphone or a small Kindle or a tablet to the person across the table, to a computer, or to a distance. So it's a different focal length that we're looking at. And our needs are actually different. The distance that we're requiring more reading area actually it's a new reading area that we're looking at, that we're taking care of with this design. On-the-go lifestyle created a tremendous need to have a flexibility and a comfort with our progressive lenses to manage these focal areas. It's influenced by our more dynamic moving lifestyle. Computers, laptops even are getting smaller. I have a very light portable laptop. Mass transit, when people are flying or they're on buses, they hold their materials differently because spatially we're a little more confined. Also, when you're doing your work on the go and you're in a populated area, you want a little bit of privacy. So people are actually moving in and up for a little more privacy. Current progressives are inadequate right now. They're just not able to meet that visual need. They're not, the power structure is not allowing them to be able to be comfortable at these reading zones. They were traditionally, in a progressive, it's a very linear design that goes from distance to intermediate and near when you get into full reading power. However, and they've been successful, but for today's dynamic lifestyle, they just can't do the work as effectively as the InTouch is going to be able to. So let's take a look at the standard progressive design getting from point A to point B on a regular progressive lens. It's much like a stair step. You can see methodical these risers are going up from the distance to that reading area. If you look at the lens itself, you've got your fitting point, and right down in the middle of the narrow corridor is the computer zone, where if you're considering a 2-add, that's right about where the one add is very narrow, so it's not a very forgiving. Typically what happens with people at that point is they're going to lift their head to get into a wider area, and they're going to lean just a little bit closer, or they're going to lean back and tilt their chin down. So if we take a look at modern dynamic lifestyles and the increased use of the smartphone and tablets and the number of people that are being that are utilizing these technologies, it actually created that InTouch has come into play. It's everyday vision enhanced for smartphone and tablets. This is not a second pair progressive. This is an everyday progressive lens for your patient. If you take a look at the graph, this is where all this new technology is coming into play. It's a very unique optical profile, and it's optimizing for the wearer's eye. You're going to have a quicker appearance of the addition power. You're going to have up to 25% more of that additional power than you would at 7-inch range that we talked about for the handheld devices. If you look at the power structure that we have here, the black line is a standard progressive lens. And on any progressive lens, the goal is to have a nice, even, smooth transition. And that's exactly what they've achieved. They're going very slowly and very gradually into that intermediate. And you can see when you get into adequate power range up for the computer, it's very gradual, very smooth, but you're not going to have as much of it as you would have with InTouch. If you look at the InTouch, which is the yellow line, it's still a very, very smooth, gradual. You've got a little bit quicker jump right here. And look how stable this area is in through here to the full reading point. So you are getting a nice buildup of power without that feeling of power jump. And because we're working with the design entirely on the back side of the lens, we've also been able to manage it so that we have wider in that intermediate by about 21%. So if you look at the InTouch versus a conventional progressive, we look at the conventional progressive and you've got the nice, smooth, even-spaced risers. All the difference that we incorporated was actually figuring out how quickly we could get a little more power without interfering with the periphery or creating a jump. And so we just have slightly larger steps at the very beginning, and then it's a very nice, even, level, stable zone for that computer and smartphone smartphone use. If you look at the diagram, these are not really done to scale, but it's really to give you an idea. You can see on the InTouch, the computer power range starts a little bit higher than your digital device range. But look at how much more space you have for both of those accommodative skills for the power range within there. You also can see it's a wider intermediate, wider additional power range. It's very, very clean. The feedback that we've gotten from this lens has been exceptional. I will give you a personal testimony to it, if you will. I was not sure how I was going to receive this lens. What I find I like about this lens is when I'm traveling, because I'm on the go and on planes and having to do quick computer information pieces, I was constantly pulling out my office lenses, which I still use a great deal. But when I'm on the go for that hour, hour and a half that I need to use my office lens, I'm comfortable with the InTouch lens. And that was huge for me because for those of us who travel on planes and those spaces are very, very small and confining, fishing things in and out of bags is not always user-friendly. But, so I'm comfortable with it. Do I think I don't need my office lenses? Absolutely not, because I still rely on them very heavily. But that's where I noticed a huge, huge benefit for myself. What this design actually means is that you're getting into that 15 to 27-inch additional reading area more quickly. We look at this as having the right optical power in the right place for those people who are on the go, who use smartphones and tablets and iPads and all that stuff more frequently and have more of a mobile office. You have a wider 15 to 27-inch visual zone that gives you that more comfortable area for tablets, smartphones, and even your computer range. It's not changing the corridor length. All we're doing is managing the power structure. We have 2 millimeter. Those are minimum fitting height designs. Now you can fit somebody at 20 and use the 15 design. It depends on the patient and what their needs are and what they're used to in their lenses beforehand. But the only thing you use these designs is you don't want to fit below the design. So you don't want to fit 16 and order an 18. What you're going to end up with is 25% more ad power in the tablet and smartphone reading range compared to a regular progressive corridor. This is just huge. I'm so impressed with this lens. That design means that the actual position of that power that we structured is enhanced for tablets and smartphones to give that patient improved visual comfort. They're going to achieve 25% of the ad power for the position more comfortably. It's going to be wider. It's going to be more stable, 21% wider. And at the lower part of the lens, you get an additional 22% broader reading area in the full ad power. So we've really done a lot with our new technology and our new research designs to optimize the transitions in these lens zones to be more beneficial for the patient. If you look at the photographs, you can see the first photograph looking through the standard progressive lens. This is a backside progressive, so it is a preformed design. It is not the autograph, I will tell you. We used a mid-tier design, but you can see exactly what happens when you're looking through the InTouch lens, how much wider you have in this smartphone as you're looking down. It's important for us to note that our autograph is still our most premium product. What we were able to do and bring to the table with the Shamir InTouch is a design that really meets a lifestyle need for people who are more and more on the go. So comparing the two, you've got the InTouch and the Autograph 2 both have excellent distance. Let's go to the near because they both have very, very good near reading. The InTouch is not as worn technology, so it's not a compensated RX. The Shamir Autograph is your more personalized, more customized lens. Where the difference is, while you do have a comfortable wide intermediate area, and fairly comfortable for use with the computer. You have a much wider and clearer, sharp vision in that smartphone, tablet, and computer area with the InTouch lens. It's important to make a note of that. It's specifically designed for people who really are on the go a lot. I like to encourage, because I know it's really easy to bring new products out, but let's talk about the market that you should consider. Just asking them simple questions so that we don't get caught up in, oh my gosh, we have another progressive, what now? You can ask them simple questions. How much do you use your smartphone? How much do you use your handheld devices? What types do you use? Do you have difficulty focusing? Do you notice that you're having more head adjustments, you're tilting more, you're moving your phone or tablet in or out? And how do you hold them? That is really going to be a key factor to have your patients sit there across the table from you, bring out their phone and show how they look at it, pretend they're texting, or have them read a message or something on their cell phone, because you'll start understanding how much manipulation and adjusting they're actually doing to get the focus correct. With the maybe exactly what it was before, you're just going to fit them like you would a normal everyday progressive, because that's what it is. We have 2 designs again available in 15 and 18. We have a wonderful material range. We have CR39, we have Trivex Poly 160, 167 available now, and in clear polarized driveware, transitions, all the bells and whistles. If it's made in a semi-finished single vision lens, it's available in the InTouch product. We have not released the Superlight 174, but it is coming. I don't have an exact date on that, but my guess is it's definitely will be before the end of the year. Frequently asked questions. I talked about office lenses. So should this lens replace the Autograph office lens? Absolutely not. The office is a small environment lens. The design doesn't incorporate distance. The InTouch does. But the intent of the Autograph office lens is having the maximum intermediate and near zones possible, and it does not focus and does not incorporate a distance prescription. So for a long time that you're working in a small work environment, absolutely the office is going to be more effective for you. Second most often is, does the corridor get shortened because the power starts soon? Absolutely not. Typically, if you think when we went and started building the short corridor, that was kind of how it was had the design on the back side of a lens. We're able to manage that power structure, as I showed you with the graph, into just incrementally increasing a little more quickly. So you're looking at that stair-step model. You've got nice, slow, even keel for a standard progressive. You're taking just a little bit higher step on the first 2 steps on the InTouch. Staircase that our marketing department spent a lot of time designing, and they're very attractive. I believe those are going to be ready to ship by the end of this week. We have these available for our Recreating Perfect Vision reward points. It's the same point value as the Autograph 2, and it does count toward the 15 pair minimum. Just a quick recap for our Shamir InTouch product summary. It's an everyday progressive lens that's enhanced for those people who use smartphones and tablets frequently during the course of the day, people who are on the go. The unique optical power profile features an additional reading area. We recreated the actual concept of our reading zones because it's not the same as it used to be. You have a quicker appearance of add power, up to 25% in a handheld device. You've got more stable intermediate area that's actually 21% wider. It's available in 2 designs, 15 and 18, so you're going to be able to fit most anybody with these lenses. And with that, I'd like to say thank you very much and ask if anyone has a question. I don't see any hands up.
Any questions?
If there's no question. Oh, you have a question? Great. What's your question? Mandy, do I have?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see that.
I don't know. I didn't see that. Okay. I thought I heard somebody.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I didn't.
If not. Oh, no. I didn't, but maybe. Okay. All right. Great. Well, thank you guys very much. I always enjoy this. I'm very, very excited about this whole day.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, Pam, and we'll talk to you in the near future.
You betcha.